Hey, what is going on, guys? We will YouTube here, back with another video, and welcome to the final part of my Banlist discussion. This part is a little bit more low profile than the others because we'll be talking about the cards that either go from semi-limited or limited to no longer on the list. This is basically Konami preparing for the next format, as I said before, in anticipation of their hitting the various tier 1 decks, bringing a lot of their cards down to 1. They're going to need to either A, support other archetypes, or B, take irrelevant cards that have been semi-limited or limited for a long time off the list entirely, and make them viable again. Examples would include Destiny Draw and a bunch of other stuff, but I'll be going through it now. There aren't that many cards on the list, unlike my semi-limited and limited lists, because I feel that a lot of the stuff that's semi-limited can stay where it is. And yeah, let's get straight into the list. Okay, so the first card is Lumina Lightsworn Summoner, and the reason I picked her was because the trend suggests that because she was limited before and is semi-limited now, that she'll go to no longer on the list. It's one of those cards that Konami don't particularly care about anymore. And Lightsworns aren't even that big, except for Chaos Dragons. So you could run her, and you could go into some rank 3 XYZs or something. I mean, she's not too bad, she wouldn't damage the meta at all, so why not just do it? Regarding the effect itself, with 3 Veilers in the format, when you pitch a card, you're more likely going to get Veilers, and of course, why would people waste a Veiler on her? But in any case, the only other targets she has are Lightsworn monsters, and that was very good when there was nothing but Lightsworn monsters in Lightsworn-related decks. But now that people are running Twilight and Chaos Dragons and all sorts of other stuff, I can't see her being that useful. And do you know what Konami do with cards that are potentially useless? They bring them back to 3. Just so that the more creative amongst us can put them to good use. Okay, so I'm probably going to get flamed for this, but I think Marshmallow should go back to 3. Okay, well, he's light, he's splashable, he does 1,000 damage when you attack into him. That's really, really annoying. But how many people are going to main deck 3 of them if you bring them back to 3? Just give people the option. And are Konami that stupid? Sure they are. They brought Call the Hunter back to 3, and the only deck that took advantage of that was Insectors. But they gave everyone else the option to do it too, and they didn't. Also, he's cute! Look at him! So remember when this card used to be good, when people used to deck like 3 in every deck? That's why they semi-limited and limited this card and did whatever else they did to the card over the last 9 years, I can only guess. But right now, it's not really doing much of anything. If they want to slow the format down, that's how I would categorize this card, along with Bottomless Trap Hole, which I'll be covering in a minute. But they should bring this card back to 3 because, again, no one's going to main deck 3, and if they do, it'll just be in some weird, crazy build. And since effects now dominate the format, not being able to attack for 3 turns really doesn't do a whole lot. You can just XYZ and set yourself up with a Zenmaines or something for a couple turns, or set yourself up with a Dalka if you're running Rabbit, or Chaos Dragon, set your whole field up pretty much immune to Dark Hole, so not being able to attack again is quite irrelevant. The only time I would ever run this card would be in Ninjas. That was when I used to run Ninjas for fun, but not really in any kind of serious deck. And what better way to slow the format down than to bring back cards to help you stall? Regarding specific archetypes, Summoner Monk would be helpful in the Books of Spell decks, because when you pitch a spell, you can pitch your Books of Spells, get them in the graveyard, get to bring out that 2500 attack spellcaster whose name I forget. So it wouldn't be too bad a way to get stuff in the graveyard. But again, why would you run 3 of this card? I really just don't see the point. The cost would just be too high. Even with all the 3 copies of each of the Books of Spells, which would be like 15 cards or something, it'd still be pretty crazy discarding that amount of spells and not actually using them. Nevertheless, I feel that the card is pretty balanced, and Konami could easily bring it back without any significant repercussions to the metagame. Next, pretty self-explanatory, Shien Smoke Signal to 3 because I'm supporting Shien by putting it back at 2 in my list. So I'd also like to see Sams get a little bit more support and put Shien Smoke Signal back to 3, make Sams viable and competitive again as a deck. It's basically to make them more consistent, because the reason they were so good back in the day was because of consistency. They could just search up anything with anything. They usually draw Shien Smoke Signal in their opening hand and the 6-time United, which is still at 3. So why not just put Smoke Signal back to 3 and just make them even more consistent? I mean, they can clearly handle the current format because they won the WCQ Central American event, but just to give them a little bit of a boost would be good. The same thing goes for the Destiny Draw engine. I think they should bring that back, and that's why I'm pairing these 2 cards together, Destiny Draw and Destiny Hero Malicious. Okay, so in the past, Malicious was basically go with Dark Refer, Destiny Draw and other stuff like that, and for Tribute Fodder. But nowadays he's good because he's level 6, he can go into rank 6 XYZs. He's a lot more versatile, plus you don't have to run him necessarily in Destiny Hero deck. You can just run that draw engine of the Destiny Draw plus the Malicious, maybe Dasher or something. So I really think he's a lot more versatile than he used to be, and he wouldn't be too bad in the game at all. I mean, you have to remember that back in the day, this card was good because special summons were a huge problem. Solemn Judgment was pretty much the only card that you could use to stop this guy if you wanted to stop the summon and not him being used as a tribute, and so on. But nowadays we have 2 Solemn Warnings, we have 2 Bottomless Trap Holes, we have 2 Torrential Tributes, and of course we have a bunch of effect failures to negate the effects of anything that he goes into. Okay, so speaking of the old days, another card which has been at 2 for a long time is Bottomless Trap Hole. And in case you guys haven't noticed, the theme for this Banlist is basically slow the format down, and that's exactly what I think Bottomless Trap Hole will do at 3. Torrential Tribute's already at 2, Solemn Warning's already at 2. Bottomless Trap Hole at 3, since priority is gone, will pretty much replace Solemn Warning. But that is it for the list, guys. I hope you enjoy. But anyway, guys, that is it for the video today. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Be sure to let me know what you think of my opinions. In the last semi-limited list, Konami brought 8 cards from the semi-limited list to no longer on list. And so I've included 8 cards in my list as well. So let me know what you guys think. If you think some of them choices are a little bit dodgy, be sure to let me know, as always. Destiny Hero Malicious, I predict I might get a bit of flaming for that, because the card used to be really, really good. But as I have said, he's not nearly as good anymore, and the format is a lot faster. And if they do intend to slow the format down, fair enough, he could be a bit of an issue. But I think the meta really misses a draw engine, because currently there isn't a draw engine that's really, really good, apart from Six Samurais, and even that isn't the most consistent draw engine. It's not just a matter of discarding something and drawing 2 cards, or like a Lure of Darkness. You know, I mean, it does have its flaws. So yeah, I think they should support the Six Samurais, they should support stall decks, they should support the up-and-coming spellcasters, and they should support what's left of the Lightshorn engine, even though personally I don't think it's that viable an engine anymore. And they should also support, in the more generic sense, slowing the format down, with the likes of Bottomless Trapple to 3. They might even bring Solemn Warning to 3, or Torrential Tribute to 3, I don't know. But what I fully expect to happen is Bottomless Trapple to 3, because it's been at 2 for a long time, and there's no really need for it to be there anymore. Another thing to note, guys, is now that the format is indeed winding down, I'm going to be making a series of videos related to the upcoming meta, what is going to be topping, what is going to be successful, what is going to be tier 1, in conjunction with what's going to be affected by the ban list. So in other words, if Rabbit sticks around, if Insectors stick around, if Heroes stick around, how are they going to fare against the new up-and-coming decks where everything is at 3 in them as usual, and people are panicking about them if they have tier 1 potential? So I'm going to be doing a series of videos about that. I haven't named the series yet, so it's going to be something to do with the up-and-coming meta, the future of the meta, or something along those lines. So I hope you guys will watch that series and keep an eye out for it. But anyway, guys, that is it for the video. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe as always. All of your comments are very much appreciated, particularly on this series of videos. I'm getting loads of comments, mostly ones about like controversial decisions that I've made regarding, for example, premature burial, just tossing it out there. But I've learned my lesson, guys, trust me. But I probably still made a couple of mistakes in this one regarding the choices that I made. But in any case, thank you for all the support thus far. And it's my 3-month anniversary of my channel today, just to let you guys know. So yay, 3 months. Doesn't feel like 3 months. I've just been like sitting around. Sorry. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. As always, I'm Weevil YouTuber, and I am signing out. Peace.